Texas-style smoked sausage and the mustard connection. Picture a weathered, paper-lined tray at a Central Texas meat market. A steaming, coarse-ground link of Texas-style smoked sausage nestled beside a square of white bread. And right there next to it, a neon magenta dollop of mustard so bright it looks radioactive. That is the Texas paradox. Generations of German and Czech butchery tradition sitting on butcher paper, staring down a cactus-infused condiment that did not exist until some pitmaster got bored with yellow mustard. We talk about brisket like it is the whole religion. But walk into a proper meat market on a Saturday morning, and the real test is the sausage. Coarse, fatty, heavy with garlic and black pepper, smoked until the casing snaps. And almost always, mustard. Not as a sauce drowning everything in sight. We are not South Carolina, but as a sidekick. The sharp, acidic counterpunch that cuts through all that fat and resets your palate for the next bite. That partnership is the whole story of Texas sausage in miniature. The method is rigid, old world, built around smoking meat out of sheer preservation necessity by settlers who turned meat markets into community lifelines. And yet the best version of it right now breaks every rule those old-timers wrote down. Stir sweet, earthy, prickly pear syrup into a tangy German-style mustard, and suddenly you are bridging 150 years of smokehouse tradition with a flavor no one saw coming. But before we get to the cactus, we need to understand how that method took hold in the first place. A quick hit history. Texas sausage evolution. German and Czech immigrants did not come to the hill country to invent a cuisine. They came to survive. They brought butchery skills, a reverence for pork and beef, and a method that turned perishable meat into shelf-stable community currency. Before electricity, a smokehouse was a bank. Those meat markets became town squares, pits burning post oak out back, families buying links by the pound, and a tradition hardening into ritual. What started as pure preservation logic became the Texas-style smoked sausage we fight over today. Coarse, fatty, heavy with garlic. But the method was always more durable than any single recipe. That is the part that matters now. While the history is shared, the way those links hit your plate varies wildly, depending on which corner of the state you are visiting. Regional styles. What's on the tray? The history is shared. The tray is not. A link of Texas sausage in Elgin hits you like a freight train of garlic, black pepper, and coarse beef. Drive east, and the same method produces a slightly sweeter, more pig-heavy version. Down south, some shops swap in venison or jalapeno. The method, cold meat, coarse grind, natural hog casing, post-oak smoke, travels. The exact ratios get local. What never changes is the fat content. These are not lean sausages. Freedmen's standard formula calls for 30 pounds of lean brisket scraps, 30 pounds of pork rib scraps, and a full 20 pounds of brisket fat. That is a 3-to-1 lean-to-fat punch. It coats your mouth and demands a counterweight. That counterweight is mustard, not sauce. A sidekick. A sharp, vinegary reset button that cuts through all that rendered fat and garlic. Yellow mustard works. A good German-style spicy brown works better. But standard yellow gets predictable. And across Texas, a wild local secret is starting to show up next to those links. Something bright magenta, sweet, and built from a cactus. The Texan twist. Prickly pear mustard. That secret is not some boutique shelf-stable concoction dreamed up in a Brooklyn test kitchen. It is a cactus, a magenta, sweet, faintly watermelon-ish cactus syrup that takes a proper German-style brown mustard and sends it into orbit. Michael McHugh put it bluntly in Texas Highways. When making mustards, I like to counteract the heat of the mustard seeds with something sweeter, so prickly pears are perfect. He is understating it. The syrup does two things the moment it hits the bowl. It floods that sharp, nose-tingling mustard with an earthy sweetness that refuses to taste artificial. And it stains the whole mixture of violent, electric pink that screams for attention on a butcher paper tray. The fat in a link of Texas smoked sausage is no joke. That 3-to-1 lean-to-fat ratio coats your mouth and demands a reset. Yellow mustard resets. Brown mustard resets harder. But a spoonful of prickly pear mustard resets and adds a new layer, a fruit-forward brightness that makes the garlic and pepper feel sharper by comparison. That is the move. Not replacing the German-style base, but electrifying it with something that only grows here. Once you taste a hot link, swipe through that vivid pink tangle of sweet and sharp. The standard yellow squeeze bottle starts to look like it has been playing defense its whole life. Stop settling for the yellow squeeze bottle. It has been playing defense its whole life. Go find a jar of prickly pear syrup. Mix it into a sharp German-style mustard until you hit that electric magenta. Pile it next to the next ring of Texas smoked sausage you pull off the pit. Taste what happens when the sweet, earthy fruit of the desert collides with fat, garlic, and pepper. We built our meat market tradition on old world discipline. But again, we did what Texans always do. We got restless. We found a cactus and asked what it could do for a link of sausage. That is not abandoning the past. It is giving it something it never knew it was missing. The tang of the mustard, the heavy smoke of the sausage, the blunt force sweetness of prickly pear. Taste it once and you will not look back.